Good evening. I'm sure you have also observed this that every time India talks about AI, the same question does the rounds. Why aren't we building a GPT-5? Why don't we have our own Stargate? Why does it feel like we're always a step behind? But unfortunately, here is the uncomfortable truth. Those questions assume everyone is playing the same game. The US is building AI dominance. China is building AI control. India, on the other hand, is trying to build AI at population scale for languages, voices, farmers, courts, cybercrime, and public systems. And those are not the same problems. So tonight, on Front Page, we are asking something harder and more important. Why India's AI mission looks slower on the surface, why comparing it to Stargate is fundamentally flawed, and what kind of AI India is actually trying to build. Joining us is the journalist Pallavi Chakravarti, who broke this story, spoke directly to the India AI Mission CEO, and has tracked every hit, miss, and milestone of this very journey. So if you're ready, let's get into it. A big warm welcome to you, Pallavi, on Front Page.
Thank you so much, Sudeep. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Pleasure having you with us. Of course, let's dive deep into it and understand and start with the timing of things because that's where pretty much most questions begin. Why did
Yeah.
it take until 2025, 26, Pallavi, for India to seriously fund LLMs while the US, China, and even smaller ecosystems moved years earlier?
I believe, there are fundamentally few things. Like one is that, India optimized for services and not really frontier research.
Mm-hmm.
So, for 2 decades, India's tech success was built on IT services, SaaS, and
Hmm.
applied AI. These models reward talent and scale without demanding billions in upfront capital.
Hmm.
Frontier LLMs, by contrast, they are capital intensive. They require a lot of investment.
Hmm.
So, it's easier for US and China to build them quickly as against India. So, which is why, of course, we jumped the bandwagon much later than they did. But fundamentally, one is that there's also the fact that, I particularly think that India, it needed to be nudged. So, when
Hmm.
DeepSeek, it came out, so then that's when, India really woke up that, okay, fine. So now that China has finally, come out with their own
Sure.
version of ChatGPT, we also need to do something. And which is just about a couple of months later, India AI mission was launched. Of course, then there is this thing about talent as well. We don't
Hmm.
have people who are, very highly trained in AI. And to build LLMs, you require that kind of talent, which is
Hmm.
mostly picked up by the big tech, and they are paid so highly that Indian companies, they can't afford them. So
Hmm.
that is again a very big reason. And thirdly, of course, our policies and government, they are, we are kind of followers. We are not
Hmm.
innovators, you know.
Hmm.
So which is why we follow very well. We are probably one of the best in following any kind of technology. But when it comes to research and innovating something, that
Hmm.
is when India lacks. And that these, I believe, are the precisely the reasons why India was late. And before, it was like a cusp period, 23, 24, and that's when,
Hmm.
like India felt that probably this is the time that we need to join, otherwise we'll probably completely miss the bus.
Before I move on, I need to obviously ask you this. You made a big statement that we are very good followers, not very good
Yeah.
innovators. But do you see that maybe changing?
Uh, it is changing to definitely to an extent, but the thing is that we took a lot of time to even imagine that we should be building our own LLMs.
Hmm.
Because of course, I mean, there is a cost advantage. We will be probably building LLMs at a much lesser cost than which are built by China and the US.
Hmm.
Of course, there is the question of data security as well. We'll have our own data within the country, and we'll be able to use the data to fund other LLMs which can be built by India. So, that is there. But I mean, otherwise, I really don't think that there is any other reason for this.
Fair enough. So I guess it's quite clear. And Palvi, thank you so much for shedding that light, which is that fundamentally the approach has been very different up till now.
Yeah,
Of course,
absolutely, yes.
Today, the global AI landscape is already dominated by very large, very capable models. So if
Yes.
GPT 5.2, Claude, Gemini 3, Llama 4, etc., already dominate, what exactly is the edge of an Indian LLM?
So the edge of an Indian LLM is that, of course, we can build it in very, very different languages.
Hmm.
India has, I mean, it's a country which is probably hundreds of languages, and to build LLMs in our own local languages means that we reach out to more people.
Fair.
And secondly, of course, as I said again, as I said before, that there is a huge advantage of cost because compute is expensive,
Hmm.
and if we build our own compute, and particularly if it is backed by the government,
Hmm.
the 38,000 GPUs that now we have, so that is only possible at such a short time because the government had pitched in. Otherwise,
Is it 38,000? Just wondering, or 40,000 now?
I mean, see, as per Abhishek Singh, it is 38,000. So I will,
Okay.
I mean, that figure, of course, we can is debatable. But when I spoke to him, that's the figure that he gave me.
Okay.
So I would like to go with that.
Fair.
So so that's there. So when we have that kind of a GPU, that kind of a compute infrastructure with yourself, then to utilize that it becomes much easier. And of course, there'll be then there can be much more startups, AI startups that have kind of come up in India.
Fair enough. Pallavi, of course, you mentioned right now the fact that a lot of India AI's vision is centered on voice first systems and Indic languages. You just talked about Indian languages and that being an advantage or the
Yeah,
India
yeah,
edge.
yes.
So, does hyper focusing on voice interfaces and Indic languages risk India building AI call centers for the world instead of frontier AI research?
It's something that possibly we have to see because we have not even come out with our first LLM yet.
Sure.
So that is something that we would probably have to see in the future how, the inferencing which Mr. Abhishek Singh was talking about when I spoke to him, that how, after the two LLMs come out, it will be all be about impact, and the next step would be inferencing.
Hmm. Which are those two? Could you
Yeah.
be kind enough to
So
tell us?
yeah, yeah, sure. So one is by Sarvam AI, which they have been propagating about from the very
Mm-hmm.
beginning, and the second would be from Bharat Gen. So
Okay.
these are the two that are decided. If he is made it very clear on the public stage, which means that they are almost on the final stages.
Hmm.
And I would not take names of a couple of AI companies, but some of them have also claimed that they would also kind of like to complete their own LLMs, which
Mm-hmm.
have been recognized by the AI mission, and they would like to launch them as well during the summit. So the whole race is now about actually, that who will be the first one to launch, if I'm not mistaken. Now, by February,
When?
yes.
Okay. By February. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
right
February
round the
we have
corner.
the Yes, February we have the summit. So before that, these two LLMs would come out. That's what Mr. Singh exclusively told us. And so now we have to see whether they come out. I would like to believe that they have to actually, if they have, they have publicized the Impact Summit at such a level, and there are a lot of dignitaries and global leaders who are coming for the summit. So they have to have something to showcase.
Fair enough.
So I'm
And a valid point. Yeah.
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 So
Meeting that
otherwise,
deadline becomes all the more imperative then, I
absolutely.
guess.
Very, very important. Yes, definitely. So earlier, I mean, they were, initially they had said that they would come out with the first model by within 10 months, but that of course hasn't worked out yet. So we
Mm-hmm.
are more than a year. It's been more than a year that the mission was launched. So when
Sure.
I asked this to Mr. Singh, then he said that it takes a lot of time for the procurement of GPUs, and that itself took 6 months because from 600 when you go to that kind of a
Scale.
huge figure, yeah, huge
Hmm.
scale. So it takes time, and of course a lot of investment. So a lot of had to be, the money had to come in from the private sector, and it takes time and all of that. So now the thing is that the India mission has attracted a lot of interest at the global stage as well, and
Hmm.
people have
Hmm.
said that how we have been late, but the certain things which are working for us, but the certain things like, for example, the investment itself, and whether actually how much of the compute is being used for, large LLMs.
Right.
So that these things, the experts have, raised questions on these points now, over the months and over the year at least.
And they're
So it,
critical
I
points, to
mean,
be honest, Pallavi.
very, very critical points. A very big critical point is also that, where we have even Mr. Singh in his previous interviews, he has said that how there will be job losses, once AI,
Correct.
as AI moves and as AI, penetrates deep into India. But
Hmm.
what are they like, if the government is taking such a huge initiative, how much of that initiative is actually also taking care of the fact that, this, if so, for example, there are like 10,000 job losses or a lakh job losses, what is
Sure.
the government doing to, to kind of safeguard those people? And there are graduates, from tier two, three cities, who
Hmm.
are ready to come out of colleges, and if they are not actually can be absorbed in the system, what are they going to do?
Which
So
actually
do
brings
we
me to
need?
this thought.
Yeah,
Since you alluded to the idea, to the point of job losses, it has been acknowledged.
yeah,
But is policy still in denial? He openly admits coders are now well competing with $20 worth of AI bots. But where is the hard plan for Pallavi? People who will be displaced, IT services jobs that will be automated,
yeah,
tier 2
yeah,
slash 3 engineering graduates who may be unemployable in the old outsourcing model. I'd love for you to tell us
yeah,
about this. This is very, very important.
yeah. So, I mean, we don't have a policy, we don't have an AI policy till now.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, which is why, I mean, I had also asked Mr. Singh about it, and he said that as of now, we don't need it. Why?
Okay.
Because according to him, there are a lot of guidelines, AI guidelines that the mission has already uh, released, and so we are kind of following them, and all of that is there. But when it comes to job losses, we're acknowledging it. But the acknowledgement is there, but where is the solution, or where is that, because there are a lot of things. So education is also involved. If we
Yes.
don't have the, if we are not educating or bringing AI to schools, colleges at the right time,
Hmm.
we are not going to actually, we'll have to import talent.
Yes.
And are we ready to do that? Because this is a
But
labor
are you,
intensive country.
tell me this. You mentioned that he believes, Mr. Singh said to you
Yeah,
that we don't need a policy. Do
yeah, as
you
of
agree
now,
with that thought?
no, we need a policy. We need a policy now, because when we say about AI guidelines, the guidelines are just specific to the usage of AI, the correct usage of AI, data security, cyber security, all of that,
Yes.
right? But it doesn't take into account what actually AI is going to do to the Indian workforce,
Yes.
right? So it has to start now. The policy has to be an extremely futuristic one, which has to accommodate job loss, job creation, which are the sectors which would probably be the most affected. And we don't
Agreed.
know. We don't know.
Agreed.
Tomorrow, writers might just just not have any jobs more left, because ChatGPT, it's like it's so easy to write there.
I mean,
But
I'm
you
giving
know,
you an aside. You remember there was this huge. I mean, this was almost a few years back, where the entire Hollywood Association went up in
yeah,
arms.
yeah,
And I mean, you were
yes,
just talking
yes.
about writers, so that just came to my mind. So I thought I'll
Correct.
just talk about that or
Absolutely,
reference
absolutely.
that. But
Yes, yes.
is there any maybe some sort of a timeline that was mentioned to you, Pallavi, by Mr. Singh that all right, wait a minute, it doesn't exist right now, but maybe we've started to kind of put things together in terms of a policy, and it should be out by such and such
Not
time.
yet. No,
Not
not
even
yet. He
that.
didn't. No, no,
Wow.
not yet. Nothing about the policy. And so, yeah, I mean, that remains a very big gap in terms of, unless and until the policy is there, it has to kind of, work in tandem with the mission to
Hmm.
actually even realize the whole impact of the mission, if they are actually really serious about it, and if they want to take it to the grassroots level.
You'd mentioned
because
earlier that India needed nudging,
yes, yes,
right? So
yeah,
makes me hark back to that thought of yours. What kind of
yeah.
a nudge, according to you, would be needed for something like this to come into formulation?
I don't know. I believe as we are like the discussion that we are having, as we write about it, and also I believe when the company, and in fact he himself said that it's so difficult to retain talent.
Hmm.
They themselves face a crisis of talent retention in India AI mission.
Wow.
So yeah, so he that's what he said, that all the good talent they are like they are all taken outside. I mean, most of them are outside. So it's so difficult to build LLMs. So now when we talk about job losses, so won't it be more if you don't have a policy in
True.
place? So it's directly connected. So they basically need to join the dots. They need to put a definitely put a time frame to it. And actually, we are anyway late. So there is
Yes.
no need of a time frame. It's like ASAP. They have to, and it really needs attention. More so because it's if the summit is right on our head, and we are
Yes.
actually showcasing ourselves as the global South. We are like this is the biggest summit of the global South and all of that. What
Hmm.
are we actually doing to showcase the real problems are being solved or not? Because any futuristic AI view cannot happen without a concrete AI policy in place.
And this, I'm pretty sure, Pallavi, to be honest, is an open secret. So, I mean,
Yes,
luminaries,
absolutely.
delegates, everyone coming in for the summit, uh, well, it's common
Yeah,
knowledge that India doesn't have
definitely.
an AI policy. And would that be, I believe, swept under the rug? Or how would you feel would it be handled? Because that is a very glaring
Yeah, I
aspect.
mean, definitely. I mean, I really hope that it is not, it's not swept under the rug, and it is actually talked about. And I hope that the leaders who will be joining us for the summit, they themselves talk about it, and uh, the researchers who are working on the mission and if there is a draft that is being drafted and maybe not being yet made public, I hope that they do it the right way and they do it really fast.
Fabulous. Pallavi, in closing, what are the upsides that you would like for the entire audience and you'd like to leave us with? And the expectations, obviously, for the summit. All right. Well, unfortunately, we've lost Pallavi, but there were very interesting insights that she has given. She did talk about a very fundamental difference in terms of the approach that India has had vis-a-vis, let's say, China or the United States. Of course, it's being addressed now. There is the upside of the fact that we'll be able to build because of a cheaper compute. There is, of course, a huge yawning gap when it comes down to the AI policy and its non-existence, but I believe it is being addressed, and I hope it is in place as soon as possible. So, in final conclusion, India's AI challenge isn't about who trains the biggest model or who spends the most money. It's been established. It's about choosing where to compete and being honest about the trade offs that come with that choice. Yes, there are job losses need to be addressed, which has been obviously addressed by Mr. Singh between compute excess, talent constraints, job disruption, and governance. The real test isn't actually so much about ambition, it's now boiling down to execution. And with the summit right around the corner, and with the fact that we have been talking about two LLMs being showcased for the world at the summit in February, we sure hope to keep those timelines and have a policy, hopefully, or at least a framework, and the fact that this could be just that shot in the arm that India needs for its mission as far as AI is concerned to gallop from here, because we were already late. Let's just try to make up for all of that time and make sure that we are always onwards and upwards. This front page by AIM Network. Please do let us know what you think in the comments below. And as always, think AI, think AIM.